right, hi everyone. Welcome back to Spoilers with Friends. I'm back with Ann Willis, and we're going to be talking about two versions of The Color Out of Space. One called Die Farbe, The Color, a German version from 2010, and the other, the Nicolas Cage version that just came out a few months ago in February of 2020, called Color Out of Space. And so I'll throw it over to Ann for some initial thoughts.
Well, we've already had a slight bit of discussion about these, and Martha and I are pretty opposite on how we feel about these. I like both of them. The German one is black and white, except for the color that no one can imagine, which is pink, apparently. And it's very well done. It's got a lot of tension. It's well done. It's good. It's scary. But I do have a soft spot for the dumb Nicolas Cage version that apparently it never came to Central Missouri theaters, and I probably should have just gone straight to DVD because I may be the only person that liked it.
I don't know. I did look it up. We were going to see it together back when it came out in February, but once it came out, I searched for it online to see where it was showing. It was showing in 3 theaters in Missouri, one in St. Louis, one in Kansas City, one in Springfield. And that was it.
Springfield had it.
I don't know. So we didn't get to see it in the theater, and figured we just wait a while. So it is currently on Amazon Prime, and for $2.99. It's currently mid-June 2020. If that makes a difference. Maybe it's free by now when you're watching this. But we did find it on Amazon Prime, so we have seen it now. And it is much more campy than the German version. I like the German version. It was more like a straight horror film. And it is black and white. It's very understated, but it is not played for laughs. It's not silly. It is more of a horror film. And I was surprised in that I actually understood more of the German than I thought I would. I haven't studied German for like 35 years, so I didn't get it all, but I got more than I expected to, which was kind of a nice perk.
I don't know more than about 5 words of German, so I had subtitles. But
yeah. So in the framing story in the German one is a guy's father's disappeared. He goes to this town in the Black Forest somewhere where his father was last seen. And it turns out that his father was the GI, I think, who came through and liberated this town in World War II, something like that.
Yes, I think, yeah.
And learned about this weird thing that was going on this farm, and wrote a diary, I guess, about what he was told by the locals and what was going on. So it's kind of a flashback in this framing story of this guy looking for his dad. But the Nicolas Cage version is just straight out. Nicolas Cage is an alpaca farmer, and his land's about to be flooded by a new dam, and then asteroid hits the farm, and horror ensues, and lots of scenery chewing. So if that's your thing, it's a little less my thing than it is Anne's. So I preferred the German version, but she did prefer the Nicolas Cage version, and they're both worth watching, definitely. And they're fun.
Yeah, for different reasons. I guess there's something for everybody in the Lovecraft interpretations here.
Yeah, it was the same story, 2 different takes on it, definitely. One much more serious and one much more campy. But, it's got Nic Cage in the starring role, so you're kind of expecting campy. I'm pretty sure you're going in knowing that's what you're going to get.
Oh, yeah. I knew within about the first 5 minutes that it was going to be campy. But at least they did it well. Mm-hmm. I don't like camp if it's not funny, because some people try too hard and they don't get it, and it just ends up sounding snotty and annoying. But this one was well done camp. Pretty good special effects. There were some gross alpaca effects that were very interesting.
Yeah.
Children fighting with each other that were good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I did not know you could milk alpacas. I guess you could. I mean, they're mammals.
I'm sure you can, and probably not many people do. I've milked sheep before. I've never had alpacas, but I know people make sheep cheese, so maybe South Americans make alpaca cheese. I don't know.
Maybe. We know they use them for their wool, but maybe you could use them for their milk too. Alpaca farmer. But the opening scene is interesting in that the opening scene is the daughter who is doing some kind of
cheesy witch ritual.
Cheesy, again, movie witches who do just whatever people in Hollywood think witches do. She's saying weird things. She's apparently got a copy of the Necronomicon from somewhere.
Yep, I've got one just like that.
Maybe from Miskatonic University. We do drop some things in there. The guy who's the hydrologist who's doing the surveying for the dam, he's got a Miskatonic University t-shirt on. So, and someone does mention the town of Arkham, which is like an hour away from where this is all taking place. So we've definitely used the names from Lovecraft and things.
There was a newscast from Arkham, which I was delighted in that, because there's the news screen with, Arkham KR whatever. And
W, I would think.
I like that.
Yeah. So
how's the weather in Arkham?
Do we want to know?
Yeah, maybe not.
Because it gets kind of weird here, obviously. We get the meteorite comes, it's all glowing pink, and infects the water, which it does in the story. So we have some things common to the story in both movies. In both movies, the people who own the farm are trying to grow crops. The crops grow beautiful and big, but are rotten on the inside. So you know that the water has been tainted. So basically, the one person who makes it out of the Nic Cage movie is a guy who realizes quite quickly that you better not drink the water.
Yes.
Post meteorite landing.
Yes.
And so he carefully avoids that and does survive. So not everybody dies.
No, that's true.
But a lot of people do.
They die spectacularly, though.
Very weird ways. Yeah, I thought the mother-son weird fusion thing was disturbing. And so, yeah, because she gets kind of hit by lightning or something, and then she and her 5-year-old son sort of get fused together.
Yeah.
Weird.
Like imagine the thing in John Carpenter's The Thing. If that thing were your mom and alive and talking, but it had your little brother stuck on its back. Nasty. But interesting.
But then everything, of course, gets really pink. And there's lots of pink flowers and pink insects and pink things that are going around. And then I guess it's Tommy Chong's character. Is that who that?
The hippie guy?
Yeah. Who decides that it's trying to recreate its home world, basically.
Yes.
So it's not really evil in that sense. It hasn't come here to kill us. It just wants things to look like home. It's just kind of homesick color. And so it wants everything to be all pink and deadly to things on Earth. So
right, and wants all the Earth creatures fused together horribly. Or the cat with terrifying glowing eyes that attacks a car.
Mm-hmm. I guess we can't really speak to the motivations of colors too well.
No. If something's that far out of what we can wrap our mammal brains around, that leaves a lot for the filmmakers to play with.
Yeah. Now, I did watch a rundown on YouTube of someone who likes to do what Ann and I are doing right now. And their idea at the end of this movie was different from mine. I suspect it's still down there. And that's why we get the shot of the lake at sunset at the end, because the sunset is nice and pink, and it looks like a normal sunset. But because it's pink, I think we're supposed to be thinking, well, just wait a little while, and that whatever is in that well, it's now drowned under the lake, is going to come back. But this other person's take was that because you see the sort of blasted heath, like right out of Macbeth, that it has somehow gone back into space and is going home, and so it's gone. But
I think that's a little overly optimistic.
Yeah, because
maybe that person didn't read the story, because in the story, that the author is just waiting for that crap to come bubbling back up out of that lake.
and there's a little pink insect that flies by at the very end. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's not gone.
So yeah, it's not hardly even foreshadowing. It's pretty much everybody's screwed.
Yeah, because I mean, how likely would that be that a thing that can do what that thing could do could, just dump some water on it and it's gone like the Wicked Witch?
I don't know. I think maybe his idea was that it had absorbed enough people and enough animals that it had maybe enough energy to launch itself back into space and go home or something.
I guess it only took a dog, a cat, 6 alpacas, and 4 or 5 people.
Well, yeah, because then it does eat the sheriff. Well, because it animates a bunch of trees, and then the trees eat the sheriff. So, I mean, there's all kinds of weird things going on there that you don't get in the German version, which, as I said, is very understated. It's very quiet. As I said, told as a flashback. So it's much more of a slow burn.
But it's a good burn.
But yeah, and then it's just every time the neighbor, because the GI who's writing this in his journal can speak German, so he's been interviewing this neighbor who's telling him what's been going on. So the neighbor's like, and I went back to the house kind of stuff. But every time he goes back to the house, things are just a little bit worse and a little bit worse, and then he can't find one of the people who's supposed to be living in the house. Then he can't find another person who's supposed to be in the house. And it's just every time he returns to this farm, things have just progressed while he was gone. So you just kind of get this progressively more horrific stuff going on, but very quiet, very understated, which is not a Nicolas Cage movie.
No. The German one is very close to the Lovecraft story. It's very, very good. I'm just slimy, I guess, and I have a soft spot for campy Nicolas Cage Lovecraft movies.
There you go.
Of which there's one, I think.
Yeah, I mean, we could do this with the Wicker Man, except I'm never watching the original Wicker Man again.
Oh, so, I can't stand that one.
I mean, it is good, but way too disturbing for me. So, but it did make me really love Hot Fuzz that much more, because it's like, what kind of classic, great casting it is to have Edward Woodward as the guy in charge of the neighborhood watch this time, instead of the cop from the outside who comes in and discovers the whole town's in on it. So yeah, that was like perfect casting. But I'm not watching Wicker Man again, so we won't be doing a compare contrast with those two.
I love the original Wicker Man. It is really disturbing. You're right, and it's brilliantly done. The Nicolas Cage version is unwatchable, and I like Nicolas Cage. That one, I just wanted to throw the remote across the room. I have baked bread in the shapes similar to those in the original Wicker Man, because a local Wiccan group asked me to do that for one of their ceremonies and assured me that they were not actually going to sacrifice any animals or any people, just bread.
Okay.
Hopefully that was true. It's good bread.
All right. So any final thoughts on this? Well, how many stars, or I guess however many creepy doll heads are we giving to these?
I would give them both 5 for different reasons. I think they're both excellent for different purposes. If you are a serious Lovecraft scholar and your panties are going to get in a bunch if you see something silly made out of a Lovecraft, watch the German one, you'll love it. On the other hand, if you're a fan of things like Reanimator and From Beyond, or you're just tacky like me, you'll love the Nicolas Cage one.
Okay, so thanks for joining us once more for Spoilers Are Friends. We'll be back next time with something else that we're hoping, once the all the social distancing stuff eases up a little bit, we can get together for our double feature that we want to do.
Yes.
So we're still waiting on that. But in the meantime, enjoy your horror movies, and we'll see you again later. Bye-bye.
Bye.